Hey guys, just a quick note from us. We really appreciate all the support and all the well wishes we've had since we launched the Fraser Golf Institute channel. But the #1 way in which you can support us is by subscribing to the channel. Like the videos, comment in the videos, let the algorithms, let YouTube know that this is a channel that you're really enjoying. Currently, about 60% of the audience, the viewers on each video are not subscribers. It would mean the world to us if you subscribed to the channel and you liked and commented in the videos. It lets people know that Fraser Golf Institute is a channel that should be viewed on YouTube. That would help us out, and we guarantee we'll bring the best content that we possibly can to you guys. Enjoy today's video. Yeah.
Can I feel that
do
same
a few
load?
more?
Absolutely. Different?
Yeah. Like, to be honest, I'm not just saying this. I feel like I'm moving better. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So we're delighted to still be here at TPC Toronto. For those of you who followed the channel, you'll have seen our session with Braeden where you took me through a sort of lesson stroke swing analysis on the incredible technology you guys have got here at the Academy. I mean, I think for those of you who are familiar with the channel, you can all say for the first time to see a golf swing 3D like that was truly unique. That was high tech. Today we're going to go low tech.
It's the best.
It is the best, isn't it? Because we know it's accessible for everyone.
Absolutely.
You were just telling me 15 to 20 3D systems all over the world.
Yeah, Mark's systems is not a lot, but it's funny, the drills that you take away from it on how to improve that data is a piece that I use day in, day out here at TPC Toronto. So, well,
we're going to get into something you guys can do at home. We're going to do a two-part series. This is going to be part 1, backswing drills. Drills that really are universal in their benefit to any golfer. And we think that they're just fundamental movement patterns that if every golfer just gets in the consistent flow of doing them, your golf swing's going to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not about style.
Yeah.
It's about sheer, can we move better? And whether you are a scratch golfer or a beginner golfer, these drills are something that will relate to you in some way, which is nice, and it's accessible to anyone. You don't need this beautiful technology we have behind us.
We're surrounded by it, but we're not going to turn it on today, which is excellent. All right, let's go for it. Drill #1, Braeden, what do we have?
We're going to start with some basic spine movement. So I think in golf, there's this misinterpretation around, we hear shoulder turn.
Yeah.
This is shoulder rotation.
Right.
You can see I have not moved in the backswing. So in the swing, it's actually the vertebrae and the ribs rotating, which allow us to make that backswing motion that we all like seeing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your right hand, put on your bottom left rib. Now this is for a right-handed player.
Okay.
So if you're a left-handed player, just invert. Left hand, just kind of on the shoulder. And you're gonna take your nice setup position. Just make sure you are taking that proper golf position. So you're flexing through those hips. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna take your right hand and pull and push with your left hand and rotate. And what you'll see for you, Ian, is one, how neutral that spine is. So every person, believe it or not, will look a little bit different when they do this based on your anatomy. Player like me, you'll see more sway just because of the lack of the limitation, that I have through the rib cage. For you, you can see you have really wonderful rib cage movement, but you can feel probably that stretch as you do that. Pull with the left, push with your right. Pull with the left, push with the right, and rotate, and just kind of hold. Now, if you're someone who struggles with a little bit of flexibility issues, you can give me a little breath out and rotate a little more. You can see how he got a bit more range there. So you can do this as, hey, I want to rotate better in the backswing. You can also use it as just a dynamic stretch that you can do before golf. But the nice thing is, hey, if we're watching golf on TV, easy drill to do instead of sitting on the couch. Hey, let's make some good movements through that rib cage to help us move better in that backswing.
We're literally in the dead of winter up here.
Absolutely.
There's snow outside. It's at -1,000 out there. There's no excuses. We don't want any golfer to have an excuse that, oh, I didn't, get better in the off season. You didn't because you were lazy and you didn't bother getting up and doing something. We don't want golfers to be that way.
The tech should be like a benefit. Not the only thing we do.
Right.
This is, if we were coming to do a session here today, I promise you we would start in the gym. and do this type of stuff before we hit balls. Because if we don't move the system well, it's going to be hard to move well with the club in our hands anyway.
Agreed. Okay, I love that. So drill number 1, right hand on the bottom of the left
rib.
cage.
Yep.
Right hand on the shoulder, on the
and
right
we're just
shoulder.
moving through each vertebrae, through the spine and each rib, and we rotate, pull. And again, if you're someone who struggles a bit with flexibility, a little breath out and rotate a little more. And you should feel a stretch. It should almost be hard to talk at the top. Like that rib cage rotating should be like a little bit tight. If we don't feel that tension, we're probably doing something wrong. We want to stretch that system out. We want to feel like when we get to the top of that backswing, it's hard to have a conversation because we want to elastically recoil in the other direction.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly get that feeling of being truly wound up.
Yeah.
You know, feeling like there's, you've hit that end range of motion where the body wants to move fast on the way down.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to just understand, hey, this is what the spine needs to do, assuming we didn't have the arms and the club going as well.
Okay. Let's go into number 2.
Simple. So now we're going to move into that right hip. So we see a lot of golfers, for me on the range, where you'll see 2 things. The hip rotates poorly in that direction where the pelvis sways too much, or overslide. The nice thing about this drill is it's going to kind of help you fix both. Okay. It's going to really help you learn how to load into that right hip joint. We hear a lot about that on TV, but it's not going to be a loading in which we're swaying to do. It's called joint pressure. We're going to kind of rotate the spine into that hip joint. You're going to feel a lot of tension in your hip and a lot in that right glute, which again goes into how we spring in the other direction in the downswing. So what we're going to do is you're going to find a wall. Okay. You can use a couch. And if you don't have a wall or a couch, you can always get in this position. But ideally, as a right-handed golfer, so again, invert this if you're left-handed, left foot on the wall, right foot planted, I'm going to sink into that hip. So I'm flexing into that hip. So I'm in my golf posture. You can do it either with hands here or do it in the same way.
Okay.
We did the other drill. It's really choice, personal preference. And I'm going to rotate until I lose range. So I'm not trying to move at the pelvis. I'm actually feeling right now a lot of tension in my right hip joint and a lot of tension in that glute. The other main key to this is watch that foot and ankle are stable.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot of, I'll do this, I'll get to end range, and I'm trying to move to create more rotation. I would rather you rotate well and have tension in the system than rotate poorly and create more rotation. Again, the rotation's there to help rebound the other direction. If we don't create that tension, and that footing, that big toe especially, is massively important. If it loses connection, we've lost that tension through the system that we're trying to create.
Okay, love it. Okay, so we've got
right foot forward.
Forward. Okay.
Left foot on the wall. Now, I want you to feel like you're tilting into that hip. Yeah, exactly. And either arms across rib cage, or you can do the drill before. And nice and slowly rotate into that backswing. Wonderful. And where do you feel that right now?
I mean, my right butt cheek feels just solid.
That glute's turned on pretty quick. And you can see how hard it is to stabilize through that foot. Like, you're doing wonderful, but it's, again, we're trying to create that loading phase in that backswing. Really wonderful. So it's kind of combining these 2 drills for you now, where it's like, hey, I move the rib cage. Really, and sometimes what I'll do is instantly get off the wall. Can I feel that same load? Absolutely. Different?
Yeah. Like, to be honest, I'm not just saying this. I feel like I'm moving better.
Yeah, and these are the fundamentals that we need. So again, we had the 3D system. We capture this data. We're still going to go back here to create the understanding of how to move. But the added benefit to this is, again, we don't need to have a club, a golf ball, a driving range. These are things you can do at home.
Love it.
And get better.
Absolutely love that. Okay, number 3.
Let's put it all together. So now we had the spine moving. We learned how to move the spine into the hip. Let's talk about the arm movement. So again, we talked about, for you in particular, how that right arm tends to do that.
Sawn motion.
And then what we saw for you to help try and stop that movement is you kind of would use your left arm to go up. The nice thing is this is going to help us fix both. So we're going to have 2 arm drills to teach how the arms move when the spine moves better. So we're combining it all. So for a right-handed golfer, you take your right hand, you're going to hook your left arm under, take your start position, give me that same good spine movement back and rotate. You should feel in that right hip. The other thing I want you to do when you do this drill is put your left hand on, and instantly you'll feel more stretch. And this is the position we're trying to get to at the top. So that right arm is hooked. I'm almost like pulling it just fractionally towards the midline. I'm not trying to create a lot of compression through the ribs. Just lightly, little pull, hand in position. Rotate that spine in the same way I was. Hand on, and you can see how nice and structured that backswing position is.
Love it.
Okay, so hook it under, and I'd hook it a little lower. So just at the elbow.
Okay.
Okay, and you're gonna feel just a fraction of tension this way, not a lot. Now rotate again at that spine, all the way back. Turn, turn, turn. Do you feel that in that right hip?
I do.
Yeah, now put that left hand on your right hand. Different? So see that's the position you've been looking to get to?
Yep.
We didn't do anything at the arms.
No.
The arms just maintained its position as we went back. Again, rotate, loading that spine. So to me, if you said, hey, what should my backswing look like? This is a drill that I use for players from a style perspective.
Yeah.
Some players will look a little lower and deeper. Some players will look a little more upright, depending on their frame, their limb length. To me, it doesn't matter. The style is irrelevant. Is, hey, when I move well through that spine and hip, where should my arms travel? Now, do they travel independently in the swing? Absolutely. Yeah. But again, a lot of that independent travel will happen in that, what feels like that transition phase anyway.
You literally just took the words that were, like I was thinking about, is like, it doesn't feel like there's independent motion when I'm doing these drills.
Yeah.
Like it really feels like the whole system is, that feels like I could be focused on my hip turn. I could be focused on my shoulder turn. I could be focused on my arms. But the reality is the whole system's working really, really nicely together.
Yeah, and I think what you'll find doing these drills is you'll find something that helps you relate to your backswing. Yeah. Hey, when I did this drill, I felt that. That's what I'm trying to create. And to everyone, that's different. They're going to experience these drills completely differently, even though we're going to do the exact same ones.
Love it.
Okay, last one.
Last one.
Left arm.
Okay.
So again, typically when we see movement, airs in the swing, it's going to be more right arm dominant. The right arm goes through more range, but it doesn't mean there's not left arm movement, airs. And it also means sometimes to feel something with your right arm, you need to do it through the left.
Yep.
And sometimes vice versa. Sometimes you need to move through the left differently to feel it through the right.
Right.
So we're going to give every player that option.
Okay.
So you're going to take your hand, make a little L, thumb in the middle of your sternum, index finger on the inside of your bicep. Again, I like to put my hand in a position where it would be at address just to make it feel real. And I'm going to rotate, maintaining that space, put my right hand on, and it's going to feel like the exact same position I was just in, but I'm going to experience it in a completely different way. And again, at this point in the golf swing, players are now going to start compressing that lead arm and turning against it to create speed. We're going to start moving the other way. So it's good positioning. You learn how to get to lead arm parallel. But again, we're going to relate to it completely different because now it's the left scap and left arm doing the work rather than the right scap and right arm.
Okay, love it. Okay, so we've got thumb.
And just in the inside of the bicep there. Just, again, we want the arm to be in a very similar position when you're swinging. And now create that same good coil in the backswing with your spine. As you load, you'll load more into that right hip. And then put the right hand on. Again, for me, very similar aesthetically to what you just did, but you probably experienced it a little differently.
Yeah, like more of that kind of push that we're trying to get into the backswing. Yeah, and I really could feel that.
What's great is like this is for you and your swing. Instantly, what I'll tell players when I put them through these drills, which one did you relate better to? Because typically, as a coach now, I know where to focus. Even if I see the right arm misbehaving, say I'm going to put the focus on the left hand because that's the one you're experiencing through, and that's individual to the player. You know, I always go back to, I remember always working on my left hip and I can never think of it. And when I got 3D, I started working on my spine differently. And all of a sudden my upper spine moved differently and the left hip did on its own. Same thing, just a different place of focus. Love so that. Again, the arms kind of don't necessarily move together, but we can create that same feel at the top using them individually. So nice rotation into that hip. Get the hand on.
Yeah. That's awesome. And just creating that consistency of spacing. Absolutely. So the arm's not getting away from the body. It's not getting pinned to the body. We're really being consistent about that distance.
Absolutely. And you hear a lot online around hand depth
Yeah.
And what you really see in 3D data is the left hand actually slightly moves out and down in that first move and then tracks in. So you'll actually see it will track now your arms, your left or your right, in the way that it's meant to based on your spine. So you're not putting it in a position. You're just moving your body in a way and putting the hands together and going, well, what did that feel like? How did I do it?
Amazing, amazing. Love it. Guys, these to me feel like, I think of these as like airport drills. Just like you're just somewhere with time to burn. You might be, you know, waiting on your catch a flight. You might be just up at the office and you're just, you know, you kind of need a break. Just get up and do some movement drills.
Absolutely. It's like, I look at it as like airport drills. You get the joke, it's always the shower drill. It's like, hey, the golfer's always got something in there going. But then from there, it's like even before you're round.
Yeah.
Because yes, those there are like more to create pathways for your brain to understand what you're trying to do. But you probably feel more loose than you did 10 minutes ago.
100%.
Right?
And I also feel like I've kind of almost been worked out a little bit.
Yeah.
Like in my ribs and stuff like that. Like I feel like I've kind of, I know I've done something.
Absolutely, which is nice, right? So it's like, hey, yes, we just told the brain how to move.
Yeah.
But also, you know, most of us are probably guilty of not doing a dynamic warm-up.
Definitely.
You can do these few drills. Let's just say you give 10 reps for each. 10 reps, take your time, go slow. That is a better warm-up than getting out of your car, grabbing your clubs, and hitting pitching wedge.
1000%.
Right? And then you can do that on the couch at home when we're watching golf.
I love it.
Right?
I love it. Well, guys, this is as simple gets, and that's what we want it to be for you guys because we want you to improve without the. We're in a very fortunate position. We've got all this tech around us, but I'm as excited about, or trust me, I'm excited about going and doing these drills as I'm about doing any other sort of launch monitor work or 3D work or whatever it may be, because there's nothing like moving well. There's nothing
100%.
like feeling like you've got good flow in your golf swing. And the more that we can get good at doing these types of drills, you're going to have better structure, better flow. How is that not going to translate to better golf?
100%. From my experience, the better we do this stuff, typically the ball striking will get better on its own.
Agreed. 1000%. Guys, on behalf of me, on behalf of you guys, the channel, huge thank you to Braeden for having us here, buddy.
Thanks for coming by.
This is amazing.
Absolutely.
Really, really cool. This is part one of our 2 parts, so whichever sequence you see, and we will be getting to downswing drills for those of you who are very, you know, maybe interested in improving your downswing. I do think, though, I mean, not just the backswing comes before the downswing, goes without saying, but the get the backswing right. The chain, you know, you've got to start the chain in the right sequence. You don't want to start it off poorly, because the likelihood is that there'll be compensations.
100%. If you said, hey, if you stood well and moved well in the backswing, probably not much is going to go wrong.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Right?
It's pretty good. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Please let us know in the feedback in the comments below. Do you enjoy these types of videos as much as you enjoy as when we're hitting shots? And I think these are as valuable, but it's more important what you think than it is what I think. So let us know below. Really appreciate you watching. We'll see you again soon.